Welcome to the author reading of Amaranth, the Evil Witch's Daughter, a Marith Kingdom novel by Mandy Jo. Chapter 5. Odulor walked out into the courtyard and sat down on a bench. Zersit, the mini dragon, flew in and sat next to him. Tilting his head, he looked up at him and said, "What you thinking?" "What our next move is. Do we go rescue her, or do we stay here and just move on?" "I vote we rescue her." Ash flew up and sat down in front of them. "What's up?" "We are contemplating whether or not to go rescue Amaranth," Ash told him. Shortly, there was a small group of mystical forest creatures surrounding them. Glurks walked out and joined them. "You guys keep repeating the same thing over and over. Either go after her or forget about it. The sooner, the better," he told them and walked away. Odulor got up and went back into his father's room. He went up to the crystal ball and asked, "Should I go after Amaranth?" The thunderbolts and electrical pulses went wild all around the ball. A message came up facing him. "No, be prepared." "Wait, what? I need to prepare?" That must mean that she is picking up where her mother left off. Great. This is going to get real interesting. I wonder if Krumaz is working with her or against her. Norella ran in, rubbed up against his legs. She looked up at him and said, "What's the verdict?" "We need to prepare and not go after her. I am betting that it means that she is taking over for her mother. The thing we don't know is if Krumaz is working with her or against her." Odorum flew in and landed on the desk. "So it's a no-go for the rescue. What do we do next to prepare?" He sat down at the desk, opened the book he found earlier, and he began to read the paper that was stuffed in the front of it. "Odulor, I assume that you are reading this and that I am gone. This book will help you with what to do and when to do it. This letter will give you some background that I always wanted to tell you, just didn't know how. Let me help you with the family tree that is going on in the area. This will help you understand things very well. Also, it will help with why you cannot be with Amaranth. Amaranth's mother is Zorelia, and Krizor is Krumaz's father. The part that you didn't know before was that Zaleria and Krizor were married. And Krumaz's mother is also Zaleria. So yes, Amaranth and Krumaz are siblings. This makes them very dangerous. I do not believe that they know. They raised them separately and did not speak of their marriage. They are full siblings and very close in age. Krizar wanted to rule the kingdom by himself and did not want the hassle of being married. He took Krumaz to live in Mizerth Castle, and he left Zaleria in the Crystal Crypt to raise Amaranth on her own. However, she decided that she did not want Amaranth and dropped her off here for us to raise her. Why would she leave her here? She knew that your mother would never turn away an abandoned child, no matter whose it was. We never would have thought that you two would be attracted to each other. We tried to raise you as siblings. Zaleria was an evil witch and has descended from a long line of evil witches, just as Krizor has descended from a long line of evil warlocks. You put the two together and you end up with children that will be evil as well. When Zaleria was in the Crystal Crypt, the only thing she couldn't do was leave, because Krizor had put a spell on it that kept her there. When Zaleria or Krizor pass, the spell will be lifted from the crypt. If the dragons have come for Amaranth, then one or the other, or both, has happened. When they come for her, they will make it appear that she is kidnapped. However, they will be putting her in place to take over where her mother left off, especially if Krizor is gone. Please do not go after her. I hope that you have already asked this of the crystal ball. I have known Zaleria for a long time, and I am sure that she has written up what Amaranth is to do next. This is where things are going to be very interesting. I'm sure that they are written to have her take over the kingdom. This was their plan. But they waited for Amaranth and Crumez to become adults. You will need to prepare for this. You will need to defend Rising Shire Castle, Demic Grassland, Breckenrith Pond, and the Callaghan Forest. This is the only way to keep them from taking over Meredith Kingdom. There are more castles in the kingdom. You'll need to seek them out to get them to help you defend our section from Crumez and Amaranth. If either Krizor or Zaleria is still alive, this will complicate things. If you are reading this, I assume that I am gone. This means that you will also have to figure out who is responsible for my death. Good luck on all of this. Pay close attention to the spells. These will help you. Father. Wow, this is crazy, Oldulor thought to himself. He got up and walked out into the courtyard. The mystical forest creatures were still there. You are not going to believe this. I just read a letter from my father. To sum things up, Crumez and Amaranth are siblings. They are gearing up to try to take over Meredith Kingdom. We need to communicate with the other castles about defending our areas, including the forest, grassland, and pond. We cannot let them take over, he shared with them. Evacius stepped forward. That is messed up. We need to make sure that does not happen. Although, it does explain the strange feelings I have gotten while out in the forest. Does anyone know what other castles are out there? Ash asked. Yes, I know which ones we need to contact. There's a master list in my father's room. Let's go get the list, Odular answered, and motioned for them to follow him. He left again, and this time Evacius, Tammin, Ash, Eldarum, and Narella follow him. Standing in front of his father's bookshelf, he reads all the titles. Book of Crystals, Book of Potions, Meredith Kingdom. Here it is. Odular took the book off the shelf, laid it on the desk. The owls and mini dragons sat on the desk looking at the book as he opened it to the map of the kingdom. Tammin sat on the back of Evacius next to the desk. All right, here's a map. And out here are the castles. There's a few ponds with some of the castles in them. How do we want to break this up? Let's go over the map. We have Grimtoll Castle within the Glassy Lagoon. We have Zodius and Zabina. This one is the farthest away. They normally just stay to themselves. In the far west is Stadion and Shellen, who are in Glottenham Castle. They have the Boardshell Cove that they overlook. Closer to us, we have Everest and Arietta that are up in Eagle View Castle that overlooks Tortoise Lake. Finally, we have Langdale Castle that is at the top of Ladelborg Gorge. Drozen and Zolia are not the most friendly. They may be the difficult ones for us to approach. Does anyone have a preference? Odulor asked them. Tammin spoke up. I think the pixies can help with Zolia. She's always nice to us. We will go talk to them. I will head out to Zodius and take a couple others with me, Evasius offered. Ash added, Oldorim and I can fly out to Stadion. He has Chrono, and that will help us. Who's Chrono? He's now. Okay. Then I will talk to Everest. We need to do this now. I don't know how quick of a learner Amaranth is going to be. They all exited and headed off in their own directions. Zersa flew up to Oljor. Where are you headed? You can come with me. I am going to see Everest. Zersa replied, Yes, I will. Oljor walked out to the livery. He went up to Magnus, a black Percheron stallion that stands 19 hands high. Okay, we are going to see Everest. You know the way. They walked into the courtyard where Oljor got on the back of Magnus. Zersa flew up and joined him. They rode out of the castle on Magnus, at first trotting, then changing to a canter, and finally into a run, with its black mane and tail blowing in the wind. And this ends Chapter 5. Join me next week for Chapter 6.